Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. You can see the tourists on their gondolas exploring the city, but we're here on the Strip. We're in the Aria Resorts and Casinos Poker Go studio, ready to jump into our North American games for the VPL Summer Open week number 3. We're finally into Group D. We're in the last of our round of 16 matches.
Yeah, all comes down to this. For the round of 16, the last chance for some of these teams to make their presence felt, as we are going to be eliminating 2 more teams and having our quarterfinals set in stone.
Not only are we deciding our quarterfinals, but we finally get to see Vision Gaming on Sovereign's Rise. I can't wait to see what they have up their sleeves. I know that they have a lot planned for this tournament. They have high hopes of high finishing.
I mean, they kind of have to. If you look at who's on that team, you look at what they were able to do, or at least members of this team were able to do in the preseason. Most of this team, formerly TSM, the top team in North America in the preseason, now going back to Vision. There's a lot going on there with this squad. I cannot wait until we get to see them in 5v5.
Yeah, I want to see that match so badly. Let's take a look at what's going to be happening across the course of today in our Razer phone schedule. Earlier on, we had our European games, 2 straight 2-0s there, but now it's time to jump into our North American matchups. Starting off with Vision Gaming's debut up against Witch Doctor, and then later on, we're going to be jumping into Dorea Esports up against Jenner's, and Dorea Esports roster is something to behold. I cannot wait. The clue I'm going to give you is they absolutely love pizza. But other than that, I'll let you guys find out for yourselves. Let's take a look at our bracket, though, because we are down to our last quadrant.
And this is it. The D portion of the bracket will be filled out today, and we will have our top 8 teams finalized. We've already saw, obviously, A and C. The first week of the round of 16 yesterday, we did get to see Nova take to the rise, and they did so in pretty spectacular fashion.
Yeah, they did. We can take a look at our Rockstar rewind of exactly that. Nova yesterday against Liberation X. This was a hype matchup, but Nova looked fantastic. And honestly, Delphi's Grumpjaw especially was on point, separating Status out of the fight and just taking them apart. And once they got a lead in each of those games, they were able to dismantle Liberation X. And honestly, the entire team of Nova looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Liberation X kind of felt like the last hope for these play-in teams to make it beyond the round of 16, but unfortunately, they got the unlucky draw of having to go up against Nova, and I mean, that's all she wrote, really. It was Nova was able to take down Liberation X, end that run very early on in the tournament, but like you mentioned, Nova looking strong and looking like they are one of the top teams in North America.
Honestly, everyone on that team absolutely on fire. Truth, especially yesterday as well, was just tearing games up. But let's talk a little bit about Nova and where they stand in the whole tournament, because I know in my power rankings I had them in first place. Where were they on your power rankings?
We'll get to the power rankings a little later in the show. I definitely do not agree with them being number 1, but we will find out where everything's going to hand out.
Well, they look incredible yesterday. We'll
but
see
they
how
had
Vision
to
look
look
today,
incredible
but honestly,
yesterday. Like, again, it's even though it's Liberation X is a good team. It's a play-in team. If you do not look dominant against a play-in team, what does that say about you?
Yeah. Like, okay, well, we'll talk about this more next weekend when Nova steps onto the stage again.
They look good, but they were supposed to look good.
With starting all over, like you've seen, starting all over has a chip on his shoulder right now. He wants to prove himself, and I genuinely believe this could well be their season. We'll have to wait and see, though. Time to jump into our first matchup of the day. So let's take a look at our Play Vig matchup right here. It's going to be Vision Gaming finally stepping onto Sovereign's Rise. It's going up against Witch Doctor. Now, we spoke to Shaded Talent leading on into the tournament, talking about the new roster that Vision has in our Razer phone.
What's up, Vainglory community? It's Shaded Talent. As you may know, me, Kaz, and Tivo came from TSM, joining Vision Gaming. Also on the roster is PvP, Lucius, and Neon Fire. With half of the team, we want to say it's our time to clap, boys. So please, just line on up and get smacked by this new roster. We're ready to win. We're gonna do it, boys. Thank you.
Line them up. I love how confident Shaded Talent is coming into the tournament. And rightly so. Look at this roster. Shaded Talent, Cos, Tivo, Lucius, and Neon Fire are going to be stepping on forward today. I mean, like you were saying before, ex-TSM players, ex-Vision players now making the new Vision roster. This is a terrifying lineup.
Yeah, and not shown on that list of 5 is also PvP Warrior is still a part of this team. And that was, you go back to 3v3 when Vision had qualified in the final season of Challengers for competitive 3v3, and everyone was really hyped for this team. They dominated Challengers. It was PvP Warrior, Shaded Talent, and Cos that were making the waves. So there's so much going on with this team.
Yeah.
And contending against them with the unenviable task of going against Vision is going to be Witch Doctor. And that's Scorpius, Solo, Stratosphere, Serbius, and iPentaQ that will be looking to take down Vision Gaming and score the upset.
And these guys did look good last week. They destroyed their play-in game. Or not last week, sorry. The play-in week 1. Serbius especially, I am excited to see how he's going to do, because he was going with things like the weapon power Idris. Definitely a player with a lot of pizzazz, a lot of style behind him. We'll see what he can do in this matchup. But let's talk a little bit about Vision first, about what their style is, because a lot of the guys coming into this one won't have seen Vision in a little while. This is a roster with a huge amount of knowledge on the game, especially Cos. He's a guy, everyone calls him like the genius of the jungle, the mastermind. He just controls everything.
It's not just the genius and the knowledge of it, it's also the unconventional picks that these guys like to bring out. Again, I'm going to go back to 3v3 once more. They had one game, it was my favorite game that I've ever casted, I think, of Vainglory, where they played a Crystal Baron and a Weapon Arden in a 3v3 game. It's effectively the equivalent of just going into an NFL game and running nothing but flea flickers and Statue of Liberty plays and things like that all game long. They do this kind of stuff frequently. I mean, you alluded to the fact that Cos was playing so many different, unique picks. And on TSM, he was playing Kestrel in the jungle when nobody else was playing Kestrel at all, let alone in the jungle. So they do a lot of these really weird things that just work.
Do you know the hilarious part about that analogy to me is if you said the Flea Flickers and Statue of Liberty stuff first and then explained it by CP power and weapon power Arden, I would have understood what you meant, not the other way around. But anyway, not a big American football
It's the North
guy.
American broadcast. They know what I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. Anyway, let's get on into this draft. Vision Gaming against Witch Doctor, starting things off pretty standard. Finn ban though, coming out from Witch Doctor. I like Finn. I love Finn, right? Maybe not ban-worthy, because who's been first picking Finn?
I mean, you never know.
I feel like, so let me just re-explain what I'm trying to say there, because Finn and Churnwalker, 2 captain bans. I understand you want to leave the power picks open so you can pick 2 of them, but honestly, a lot of the teams have been using their first picks for captains, but not really on the side of the A side. You want to pick the open power pick, like your Tony, for example. But then this response is usually 2 strong captains.
Yeah, but you look at what's still available. There are so many strong picks
just
still up.
For clarity, they cannot actually lock in Silvernail. He's
Yeah.
hovering it there. Don't get too excited, guys.
A few teams have hovered to Silvernail today. I haven't mentioned it at all because he's not available. Next week is when we'll start to see that Silvernail come through. But for now, it is going to be Lance and Grumpjaw. So that's the 2 heroes that got like the most buff out of this update 3.6.
And Lance is a pick that Witch Doctor used in their playing as well, and they used it effectively.
And that was before he was buffed.
Well, they destroyed.
That was before he was buffed too. So
yeah, this is definitely a pocket pick for them, and I'm excited to see them using it against a stronger team, because it's easy to look good against a weaker team, but now you're up against Vision. I want to see these Lance plays, because Lance has an incredibly high skill ceiling. You can make those insane cross-map plays.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that Lance has always been known for, is just the ability to set up so many team fights. And you look at the rest of this draft now, Gwen going to be coming through from Vision. Nothing really too out of the ordinary here from Vision. This feels like likely they're going to be keeping their cards close to the vest, because this is a game that they should win on paper. Like, they are going to be the heavy favorites, so I don't expect them to see too many things that are out of the box from them. Likely going to be saving those kinds of picks for later in the tournament against teams that they perceive as larger threats.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they are going to pickup to lock out their composition there. But I like the scarf grab from the side of Witch Doctor. I'd love to see the Idris again. We saw it we saw it in week 1. Wasn't very likely. Up against a team like Vision, you kind of have to play super serious. So the weapon Sky. But honestly, Witch Doctor's drafting has been on point so far.
At the same time, though, sometimes pulling out those pocket picks that most people aren't going to be expecting can be your way to victory against a stronger team, because you have that little bit of an unknown edge, that little bit of unconventionalness to your composition. But it looks like both teams, I mean, these are both very strong meta compositions right now. There's not a whole lot of, experimentation going on at all. I mean, you look at now that we have a full composition from the side of Vision, you've got the bruisers in Tony and Arden. You've got the sustainability with Adagio and Samuel, and then you've got that backline heavy range damage coming out from Gwen as well. And then Lorelei on the side of Witch Doctor, again, gives you that little bit of protection when you do go in as Lance or Grumpjaw, and for that Sky to maneuver around.
This should be a really good, because these two, like most of these compositions that we talk about here on the desk, one team has has at least a slight advantage. These two compositions are pretty much the same, at least stylistically, very similar. So I'm excited to see. This is more about which team can pull off this better, but I'm excited just to see what Witch Doctor are going to bring to the table here, because they looked phenomenal in their playing game, but also these guys are vocal players. Like Scorpius has been vocal on Twitter, on the team Discord and everything. Like, he wants to prove himself. This is a team that is coming in and wanting to make a name for themselves, and realistically, there's no better way to do it than take down Vision Gaming.
I mean, that would be absolutely massive for them. It would put them on the map 100%, but this is still, we have to curve the expectations a little bit and say this is still a match that they are expected to win for Vision.
It certainly is Vision favored, but let's see if they can make that happen. Vision Gaming against Witch Doctor. Let's pass it over to FlashX and Dowsy to take it away.
We're keeping the British-American dynamic alive, FlashX, as we jump into the North American side of the broadcast here. Vision versus the Witch Doctors. We'll have to see if the Witch Doctors can find their voodoo magic here and upset Vision.
Absolutely love it. I don't know if casters are supposed to or allowed to pick favorite teams. I'm just going to ask for forgiveness if we're not supposed to, but Vision Gaming, definitely one of my favorite teams to watch. I have worked with all of these players on a very close level back when they were on the TSM roster, most notably Shaded Talent, TiVo, and Cause. I expect them to be one of the powerhouse top teams here in North America.
I remember back at the Vainglory 8 Unified Western Live Championship in London, when the owner of the Vision Gaming organization approached us and said, hey, I want to get into Vainglory. I'm going to have a team in the Vainglory 8 by the end of the year. So happened that he did. The Vision Gaming roster came through. They made it into the North American Vainglory scene, and here they are, fighting to try and show us what they're worth. Gonna be an invade into the red side jungle, and it looks like Solo might just be dead. First blood in the jungle.
Scarf burned down to the ground. PvP, definitely. I mean, PvP, there's the synergy in this entire team. They've all played and competed with each other before, so there's not this big transitionary period like some of these other 5v5 teams have had. PvP very experienced with playing with Shaded, Cause, and TiVo. I expect them to be very, very tight in terms of their rotation. North America, we've seen in 5v5 a little bit slower in terms of how they start this early game. They're more calculated. They take a little bit longer to ramp up and start getting things involved. We did see that one early kill, but I definitely expect things to slow down quite a bit. But one thing that I'm really impressed with is Witch Doctor Gaming has such good map vision right now. They have scout cams everywhere on the map, whereas Vision, it seems like they only have just a couple scout cams down throughout the Sovereign's Rise.
Yeah, no, not really too focused, just the topside river that they're really keeping tabs on there. Currently TiVo just sitting up top, waiting for the farm to come to him as Stratosphere invades on into the side, that blue side jungle, potentially spotted up by a cam as he does so. But you see Vision Gaming, they're going to make the aggressive move themselves, taking away this Crystal Tree, and Lucius and Cos able to find that, and now looking for the double bears once they spawn.
Definitely Tina Turner on this weapon power Sky. Not a hero that we have seen too much in the meta, but in my experience playing Ranked Queue, it is definitely one of North America's favorite weapon power laners because when she ramps up, when she gets the items she needs underneath her belt, she can be an absolute powerhouse pick of a hero. Super, super mobile. It'll definitely be hard for Kaz on this Arden, TiVo on this Tony to really get on top of her and stick on top of her. And then, of course, with the Surrey Strikes, it'll be hard for Samuel to land the Malice and Verdicts that he needs to.
Yeah, we'll have to find out how this one does go down. Currently, Stratosphere, the one called out, but Grumtroll's so tanky here on update 3.6. Going to be okay as far as that's concerned. And yeah, look at the pacing. It's just so vibrantly different from Europe. Yeah, I mean, only a year ago, we were talking about how EU weren't aggressive whatsoever in the early game, and North America had it all going on. Right now, it seems like North America very happy to farm up and just really calculated invades that are not being contested.
Yeah, and the efficiency coming out of Vision right now is phenomenal. They've amassed K Gold League fight, only picking up 1 kill, but Witch Doctor in this bottom jungle.
Whoa, that's a lot of damage coming out of Lucius. Got those double crystal bits, all that's necessary in the early game for a Samuel, and going back with almost 1900 gold. Gonna pick up the components for his Spellfire.
He's got those bases there. I definitely expect his damage to ramp up very, very quickly here. Tina Turner going down in the top lane. Kaz on one of Tasty Bacon's favorites, the Weapon Power Arden. I think more traditionally, we do see these Ardens build the more utility style roles. I'll be very curious to see what Kaz ends up going with. But knowing Kaz, I would expect him to pick up some damage. He picks up the Tendon Bow, and
Nice.
those Blood for Bloods are going to pack quite a punch.
Yeah, no, he's ready to go. TiVo's here, trying to lock up Stratosphere. The taunt comes through, gets a stun. Not sure Kaz really wants to get involved now that Tina Turner's back in lane. Boom, 300 damage.
That burst.
Towards Crystal Tree, and there's a fight though. Lucius going down low, but it's Solo who's dead. Oh my gosh, look at the damage coming out. PvP Warrior, 2 kills, aces higher than the Tony once more. He finds the triple. What a monster.
We do not typically see triple kills coming out at subs into the game, but PvP feeling himself. Gwen, great changes to her kit in update 3.6. Her skedaddle giving her that huge boost of movement speed. PvP definitely using that to his advantage. She was double buffed going into that, and that is damage that if you're on Witch Doctor Gaming, you've got to watch out for.
TiVo just bullying a Stratosphere on the top side. Really just not worried about the damage that Tina Turner has. She's nowhere, the sky is nowhere near the damage output that PvP Warrior's Gwen is dishing in. Because of this, Vision Gaming going to ramp themselves up, get this Ghost Wing started.
Yeah, Kaz so tanky on that Arden. He's going to have no problem tanking it up. I really don't even think Dr. Gaming are in a position to contest this. Is only Scorpius and Ethereal on that Lorelei in the bottom lane. Vision Gaming continuing to extend their lead. They are not letting up. I think turrets are going to start falling like dominoes here in the next couple of minutes.
You'd feel so. 6-1. Already that 7,000 gold lead. TiVo currently just holding off 3 in the top side, doing his best to clear the wave. Doing a pretty good job at it as well, actually. Whilst the rest of his team pushes down mid. This is such a good hold by TiVo. What a god. Bada boom, knocks back Tina Turner in a 1v3 whilst this team has found a second turret in the bot lane. And TiVo's still going at it. Holy moly. He is just unstoppable. Kills in the bot side, turrets being taken across the map, and Witch Doctor Gaming can do nothing about it. He wants the 1v3 solo kill to Tina Turner, and oh my god, TiVo almost got it. Does finally lose his life, but still, this is 2 turrets taken. In tier 2 turrets, they're looking for the armory turrets. They've only traded a tier 1 on the top side. What the heck is Witch Doctor doing?
Yeah, Witch Doctor not really playing the macro game as well as I think that they could be. Spoke to them a little bit before the game started. They definitely said that they were nervous, rightfully so. This roster, again, veteran players, even though they're so young, they certainly understand the game at a very high level, and certainly their mechanics are some of the best in the entire game. Vision Gaming, their first series of the tournament, looking very strong.
I mean, PvP Warrior just I mean, at this point, you can't get close to him. He'll just pretty much one-shot you with the passive on Gwen here. Pretty insane stuff. This turret, not long for the world. Tina Turner doing his best to push everyone back with that death from above, but Vision happy to just walk on into the base. It's a 4 versus 5. They have to respect that somewhat, unless they just delete Tina Turner from the game with this Gwen, then they can potentially push on towards that armory.
Cause has his gauntlet. If Witch Doctor steps up too far, I think Vision will look to engage here instead. They're just going to cut away, go try and make sure they have the rotation locked down on Witch Doctor's jungle, which they are going to be able to successfully do. Ghostwing probably coming back up here pretty soon. Another turret falling in the top lane. Tebow picking that up by himself. Vision. Clean rotations right now. A 10k gold lead. We're not even 10 minutes into the game yet. They're looking at another turret here in the bottom lane.
It's insane how Vision Gaming have generated this lead for themselves as Tebow is just going to escape this one. Stratosphere is looking for the Grumpjaw eat. That doesn't look like they're going to chase too far because look at what's happening on the bot side. It's Scorpius losing his life to PvP Warrior. Ace's high connects, but the Water War and the Fountain will keep Scorpius alive for now. Does look like potentially they might continue this siege. Kioz was trying to get the armory for himself, wasn't quite able to secure it. He's going to get pushed out by Stratosphere here. With the Ghostwing spawning, Vision Gaming might just fall back, take the jungle, and then look for that instead.
Vision is doing such a good job at allocating resources every area of the map. Tivo in the top lane, Causes in the mid, the other three in the bottom lane, pressuring everywhere, making sure Witch Doctor does not even have a chance to breathe. Even though it's a 3-on-5 here in the bottom lane, Vision Gaming is gaining the upper hand in terms of damage output, forcing Witch Doctor to go and retreat. This is going to be the rotation they want to secure that Ghostwing and potentially look to go ahead and close out the game.
I mean, this game is over as soon as they group as 5 flash. It just feels like there's nothing that Witch Doctor can do. If they're not able to take a 5 versus 3 comfortably, then there's no way they're going to be able to fight these, carries once the front line is there to help out as well. Ghostwing in the back pocket now for Vision Gaming, up by 10,000 still, and they're just looking for the entry into the base.
This is beautiful Vainglory coming out of Vision. Tivo gonna taunt up Stratosphere on that Grumpjaw. I think Witch Doctor's in trouble here in Vision. I think that they are confident enough in their own mechanics that they're gonna look to close things out.
Well, it is a group up in the mid lane for the front line. The carry's getting ready to push down the bot side for Vision Gaming. Currently, Witch Doctor are doing their best to hold off the forces in the mid lane, but they're pushing their way through the bot side, taking that turret down. Scorpius trying to take up the damage, but he doesn't have enough defensives. He goes down. This is going to be the fight breaking out, as that's Tina Turner dead. Nothing you can do at this point. Tivo tanky enough just to run off the Sanctuary after being swallowed up. 2 armories down. Vision Gaming don't even need to fight. All they care about is take down the Vain Crystal, and they're going to do so in one of the fastest games of Vainglory 5v5 I've seen. Vain Crystal down at 11:43.
Clean game coming out of Vision Gaming. I mean, that's exactly what I expected. These kids are absolutely phenomenal players. Definitely flexing their prowess here in game number 1.
Absolutely incredible stuff, and it just went so wrong so quickly for Witch Doctor. To try and bounce back from that loss is a difficult task indeed, and I 100% see why people are predicting Vision to win the whole VPL. I mean, what do you think of that, Munch?
Well, anyone that was doubting that Vision is a team to watch out for has been silenced. That was disgusting. And can we just take a moment to appreciate that cosplayed Weapon Power Arden and was like half helping people in one hit?
I mean, don't sleep on the Weapon Arden. I've been saying it for years now.
It's not the
It got
first good
proven in
performance it's had.
preseason, and it's going to keep getting proven because it is amazing. But my goodness, Vision, I mean, this...
Yeah.
It's
PvP Warrior as well.
we expected them to be dominant, but like that was just
It was
almost
the
excessive.
fact that it wasn't even like individual. It wasn't even like a team.
It wasn't.
Dominance. It was just
they
like,
didn't
oh,
win
PvP
based on their
Warriors bot.
like
He's
full
gonna
team
1v3
rotations.
and just
like,
take turrets.
Yeah, it wasn't even like fully on the team rotations, or it wasn't like really clever positioning. It was just them saying, you know what, we are stronger right now. We are going to fight, and we are going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at where we are in the bracket right now for the Group D bracket. This is obviously brought to you guys by the Razer phone. We're currently in Vision Gaming versus Witch Doctor. It's 1-0 right now, and it's looking like it might just be a clean 2-0, honestly. But later on, we're going to be jumping into Daria Esports up against Jenners, and that will be our last round of 16 game. We have almost got our full round of 16 decided and our quarter finalists locked on in. But I want to talk a little bit about Witch Doctor's win way back in the first week of the VPL. Let's take a look at our Rockstar Rewind for Witch Doctor, because this is a team that had promise. They destroyed these two games, and especially players like Serbius, like PentaQ. They had some awesome plays, and Scorpius as well. Fantastic captain.
Yeah, I mean, they played great games in the play-ins, but this has just been a totally different animal. I mean, you look at the way that they were able to take team fights, how aggressive they were being. Prioritizing the right targets, knowing who to focus. It's, again, there's promise for this team, just they aren't quite ready for a team like Vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they're playing with a slightly different roster to what they played with in the play-in week, but Tina Turner stepping in, I don't feel like Tina Turner was the weakness right there.
Really,
she even had an outplay in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was a 1v3 situation. They baited in TiVo to go for that kill. Tina Turner still had the flask available, so they were able to get that kill. But while that is good for an individual play, you look at what's happening on the rest of the map, and Vision were pushing into the armory turrets while that's happening. So it looks nice in the isolated moment, but as a whole, Vision is just so much further ahead.
Absolutely, and a lot of that was on PvP Warrior, just destroying in the bot lane. But one of the big guys that I want to talk about after that game is Cos. Let's take a look. He's going to be definitely a player to watch. In the preseason, one of his most played was Kestrel, but honestly, that just shows how diverse his hero pool is. Because he was playing Weapon Arden in that game and absolutely demolished them. So realistically, you never know quite what's going to come out from Cos, but you always know it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that he puts his hands on ends up being successful in the jungle here in 5v5. So this is one of those teams that, we always talk about targeted bans or, banning away what they're going to be best with.
Yeah.
What do you ban against them? It doesn't seem to matter, because whatever you ban, they will have another strategy in place. They will be able to adapt to that and pick up virtually anything on Sovereign's Rise and make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've seen that right before our very eyes in game number 1. I'm really curious what this next draft is actually going to look like, because the first draft we saw some kind of off-the-wall bans trying to target players out and avoiding banning the power picks, but realistically, can you afford not to ban the power pick? I mean, honestly, I think Gwen is starting to become a ban at this point, because we've seen multiple times today, Gwen is destroying teams.
Yeah, either that or teams are going to have to figure out a way to actually deal with her in the laning phase, because that's where Gwen is so dominant, because she does do that heavy burst with the buckshot and just the her perk being able to give her that amplified basic attack damage. So it's really difficult to trade against a Gwen when you're in the lane. So either, like you said, maybe she starts to become a ban, but then who do you take off the ban list in order to put her on it? So it's a very difficult choice to make, and we'll see where these two teams do decide to go now.
We certainly will. I'm curious, and we're actually going to see oh no, sorry, I'm completely on the wrong page there. Tina Turner's still going to be in the game. I thought they'd subbed out Tina Turner again then, but Kinetic is going to be the ban, as well as Churnwalk, and then we're going to have Kensei taken off the board. And the final ban from Vision Gaming. We'll see what that's going to be in the end. It's Grumpjaw. So Grumpjaw, pretty standard ban at this point. I think Grumpjaw just so strong, especially the fact that you can just eliminate another player from the team fight. You can build tanky and you still do really good damage.
And because the meta for 5v5 has shifted so much towards these stacking heroes, stacking up a Dragon's Eye or a Breaking Point, when you ult someone that is building up one of those two items, that takes away all those stacks by the time you spit them out. So that's one of the reasons, another one of the reasons why Grumpshot has become so prevalent right now. We are going to see this Finn get picked up. This was banned by the side of Witch Doctor in game 1, so clearly they have a lot of emphasis on this Finn pick.
One thing I really like about this Finn pick is things like Anka and Reza are still open, but really don't do well against Finn. So this is actually a really smart first pick coming out from Witch Doctor. I like this creativity in the draft because we don't typically see people allowing them through and then not first picking it. So they are going to be up against a Scarf and Tony though, but Scarf versus Finn is kind of some people disagree on how this matchup goes, but honestly, if I'm playing Scarf, I like it when there's a Finn on the other team because it's just a target to stack up your Dragon's Eye on before the fight.
It depends on what stage of the fight you're at. We are going to get this Black Feather, but going back to that Scarf Finn matchup, it depends on where in the fight you're at. If you're before the fight has really fully broken out, you love it because you get stacked up, and it's very difficult for Finn to avoid any of your Spitfires. Once you're in the thick of the fight, though, that's when you start to hate the fact that Finn is there because he's eating all this damage that you want to get onto the backliners. And Lance coming through as well, another one of these heroes, a very similar situation where, can block a lot of the damage coming from Scarf that's trying to get through onto other targets.
Yeah, and also Black Feather to jump onto that Scarf. So far, I like the lineup from Witch Doctor. We said that in game 1 though, and it didn't really work out. So we'll see what miraculous things they have to pull out of their sleeves. Black Feather definitely a pocket pick for them. We'll see if it's going to be enough, to be quite honest. Vision Gaming basically deciding how they want to round this one out. They played Idris previously, flickering between Idris and Glaive. So I feel like neither of those picks are particularly meta right now, but when you won game 1 as well as you did, I think you can afford to have a little bit of fun in game 2.
Yeah, and it's also, you mentioned the fact that Idris was used by Witch Doctor in their week 1, so maybe also just a little bit of, all right, you guys won with it, we're going to show you that we can do it just as well. So maybe a little bit of that gamesmanship going on here with Vision, but Idris is one of these heroes that if you get rolling, can be very difficult to stop if you don't have the stuns. And obviously, a Quibble can be dodged pretty easily by an Idris. The one thing that he's gonna really have to worry about is those Lance Scythian walls, because if Idris does get stunned up, he's very, very squishy and goes down very quickly.
Yeah, Idris is not going to survive if he can land that CC, but he's so good at dodging out away from that. Samuel was going to be the last
lean with
lock
the
in
Scarf.
Here. Yeah, good amount of damage, honestly, coming out from Witch Doctor. I actually really like the Witch Doctor composition. They got the Lance against Samus last time,
if these were two teams that were dead even in terms of skill and ability, I would give favor to the Witch Doctor draft here. They did a very good job with their drafting, and that's, again, one of these things that not a lot of these play-in teams had was very good drafting skills. So definitely one of the initial positives for Witch Doctor to take away from this is that their drafting has been absolutely on point.
There are definitely positives to talk about for Witch Doctor, and I'm excited to see if they're going to... I want them to stick together as a team. I want to see these guys grow because there's clear potential right here for this team. But realistically, going into Game 2 against Vision, after how Game 1 went, I don't want to just talk about Witch Doctor here because Vision, this is going to be a show, right? Locking in Idris, just watch the Idris in this one. It's time to jump onto the map. Sovereign's Rise, let's do this. Vision Gaming up against Witch Doctor. Let's see how this one's going to finish on out, whether Witch Doctor can hold on or if it's going to be a Vision 2-0.
Well, Vision Gaming, super dominant first game here on the Sovereign's Rise. Witch Doctor will be looking to try and find their dignity. Flash X, definitely a hard task ahead of them.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle. Vision, so strong. I mean, we saw it there in the first game. I do think Witch Doctors have now made pretty substantial gains in terms of how strong their drafts are. I really like the Finn being paired with the Samuel. Tina Turner denying the Gwen from PvP Warrior this game. But PvP's signature hero, in my opinion, is definitely this Idris. It could definitely be another field day for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fun fact, back in week 1, day 2 of the VPL, Clash from Europe were able to set the fastest game in history for 5v5 VPL at 11:25. We just witnessed a 11:43 game. So it's kind of crazy to think that Vision Gaming were that close in game 1, but actually, I mean, how do you find that extra what, 25 seconds necessary to beat a world record.
It's definitely a notable difference, but Vision Gaming would definitely be the team that would be able to make it happen. I have no doubt. Lucius on Scarf in this game. He pushes wave in. Gonna find a little bit of a recall, reset, pick up some more base items. Solo on this Samuel going behind already. He's 7 last hits behind Lucius. That is not a deficit that you want to be at this early on into the game.
No, not at all. Lucius last game was spitting out so much damage on his Samuel. Of course, it was PvP Warrior who just kind of surprised us once that Sorrow Blade was online for the Gwen. Now on Idris, though, going to be slightly different. Still a huge threat to be had, but you can see Scorpius has kind of head up to the top side to help out Aetherial here. Really just make sure that PvP Warrior can't run away with the matchup. And honestly, Black Feather pretty good into weapon power Idris. But I tell you what's not good into anything is a mage left alone against 3.
Definitely not. That's just, again, he's behind. Him being left to his own defenses, not what you want to do. Cause finding a nice rotation.
What is that? Oh my god, Stratosphere so close, but Cause just sidesteps backwards to dodge the Giffian wall to catch out that kill onto Tina Turner. I love watching this high-level mechanical play from Cos.
We saw really good vision out of Witch Doctor in this game number 1, but game 2, Tina Turner just didn't know that Cos was rotating down. I don't know if they didn't communicate it. It was very that he was off the map. That's something that they need to be able to respond to much more quickly, because you can't be getting caught out this early on or you are going to fall too far behind.
Look at this, Vision Gaming, they take away the Crystal Treant, the double bears Lucius and Shaded Talent share the experience and the goal, they get it all. Now they're moving in to try and take away the Weapon Treant as well. Cos getting back up here. Oh, the Spitfire group secures it for Lucius, and oh, Cos just picks up 1 kill on the back of it all, waiting for his auto attacks to come back up. Shaded Talent to heal him, just thought potentially there was the potential. They are going to steal away every jungle camp, and right now Vainglory 5v5 isn't 1 in lane, it's 1 in jungle.
Beautiful invade from Vision Gaming. All of the jungle camps are dealing more damage in update 3.6, so if you get pinched in a spot like Witch Doctors were, where you're having to tank those jungle camps while fighting the enemy team, that's not a position that you want to be in. And yeah, definitely Witch Doctors getting punished for it.
And look at it. Oh, Lucius rooted up. Finally, they're going to get onto this Scarf, but I just don't think they have the damage to chase forward. Shaded Talent just doing continuous auto attack damage from the side. And once Lucius's crystal buff expires, all he has to do is head over to his jungle and he can secure it as well. I mean, there's an argument to be made that potentially getting the gold sooner rather than later is better, so that you can get more of it overall in the game. Currently, it doesn't really matter. You're up by 4,000 gold and you haven't really done anything other than invade jungle.
Not only is Vision up 4k gold, look at how much gold all these players are sitting on. Cause 2k, PvP Warrior 3k, Shaded Talent almost 2k gold. They are going to hit some huge item power spikes very, very quickly, which Cause just did in his Aftershock. You thought his burst damage was legit already. It's about to get that much more deadlier.
Scary times ahead. And of course, playing this jungle Malign, he'll have that weapon buff so that he can slow you down with his auto attacks as well. Look at this. Cos, just so much damage from the auto attack, from the shifts. We get a kill up topside solo for PvP Warrior as he takes down Scorpius. Now Aetherial under the turret in trouble as that Chakram just does so much damage as it rips through. Lucius and Shaded Talent setting up to invade onto this Gold Oak once more, clearing out Vision and setting it up as well. It's just, there's nothing that the Witch Doctors can do.
PvP Warrior showing exactly why Idris is one of his heroes. That was a 1 versus 2 when he picked up the kill onto the Finn. You do not want to be giving up kills when you have a numbers advantage. He's continuing to apply pressure in a 1 versus 3. He recognizes that he needs to get out, and he's going to find a little bit of a retreat.
He doesn't want to get out. He wants to go in 1v3 and find kills. Oh,
not going to be enough, though. That was bold, PvP. A little bit too bold, though. That
was unnecessary, but if he got it, whoo!
He was going for the highlight reel plays. That's for sure. We gotta give him credit for being confident. Again, that ghost wing capture came out a little bit sooner. Maybe he could have taken it. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more communication out of Vision Gaming, letting PvP know, hey, give us 5 seconds to finish this. You'll have the buff, then you can go in. That would have been really, really beautiful, Vainglory. Unfortunately, he's gonna fall, but it being over 6K gold ahead at this point, I don't think Vision even cares.
Yeah, right now, Vision Gaming showing why they're one of the top teams here in North America. And unfortunately for the Witch Doctors, a play-in team, it's just not enough in this round of 16. Currently looking to try and take this tier 2 turret in the top mid lane. They're going to find that no contest whatsoever. Their gold lead continues advancing. Cos in the bot side holding off 2. Tina Turner's almost dead. If it wasn't for that fortified health coming out of Scorpius last second, he would have died.
Yeah, Vision Gaming definitely capitalizing on this gold advantage that they have thus far. Cause hungry for more kills. He's 3 of 0. Will it be 5? Not this time.
Not quite this time, but look at this. From mid up to top, they secure 1, they secure the second here. This is so many turrets in such a short period of time. And Witch Doctor, right now they can't contest. And we just jumped the gold lead up by a whole another 2,000 here. Everyone can go back and shop.
8,000 gold lead, 8 minutes into the game. Vision Gaming relentless in the pressure that they are able to put on. They understand the game so well. They understand their advantages. They know when to go in, press them. They are just continuing to extend this lead. And this game, I don't know how much longer Witch Doctor is going to be able to hang on.
Well, for Witch Doctors, I think what they want to do is hold on for another 3 minutes and deny that record of fastest game lost. That would definitely be a good start, but obviously you want to come back and win. You want to make this a game, a series. Cos here looking to continue his play. Just such a fabulous Maleen so far. In the preseason, he averaged 5.42 kills. Currently, he's sitting on 4, so not too far off, finding that average once more. And Vision Gaming are allowed to just continue pressuring it out. Then Witch Doctor are not going to find an in back into this game. Oh, over the wall, Lucius. Beautiful.
Stratosphere sticking around just a little bit too long. He actually had the block if he wanted to try and stay alive. He's find it though. Great pull from Scorpius.
Great. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of damage put out. I think PvP Warrior's dead. Just decided to commit, get some extra damage down onto that armory turret. That's going to slow the game down just a bit because Vision Gaming will have to pull back.
Is it going to slow the game down, or are they running straight for that ghost swing and going to capture it as soon as PvP Warrior comes back online? I guess it even does a favor for Vision just to push them back in that direction. Cause obviously going to pick up this crystal tree, and his damage right now is absolutely immense. Witch Doctor has to position very, very carefully. They're in position to at least contest the ghost swing, but I don't even know if they're going to be able to regardless.
Yeah, I'm not sure they are, cause just half health's Tina Turner blocks up that impale coming through from Stratosphere. And meanwhile, Lucius with his auto attacks, the goop is just doing so much work. Oh, Cos a little bit overextended, will lose his life. Shaded Talent needs to make sure that he's not in trouble. This would be a 3 versus 5 if they hard commit to it. I think what they want to do is stop the backports coming through because the armory turret is going down. PvP Warrior in the top side, almost finding the first kill. It's going to be TiVo versus 2. Tina Turner should be able to deal with that, though, you feel. One traded back and forth. Lucius gets pulled to Scorpius. He's all right. I'll take you down. Now it's Solo and Tina Turner stuck here. Whilst Alifa gets to go back, but the armory turret's already dead, and PvP Warrior is taking down this another one. It's going to be Lucius coming in with the goop, the Spitfire combo to make sure it happens swiftly. Vision Gaming just macro game on point right now. Armory's going to look like it's going to fall as well. Lucius, whoa, PvP Warrior just jumps in, finds a kill. Oh my goodness, we're 25 seconds away from the record, and they're able to get more kills. Maybe they find it here. Nah, it's going to be a fallback. Not going to be the hard commit for it just yet. But 2 armories down at 11 minutes. It's not fun to be Witch Doctors.
No, it's not. All it's going to take is Vision to reset, get some more items online, push through that bottom lane, take down the final armory turret, and I don't think Witch Doctors is going to be able to stop them.
You compare lanes to each other. Tina Turner with that Sorrow Blade has been forced into building defensives just after. PvP Warrior's got 3 items.
Yeah,
All offensive.
Huge disparity. Huge disparity. I mean, PvP Warrior, we straight in to Tina Turner, just absolutely deleting the Gwen. Not even giving her a chance to try and contest. Vision Gaming, I really respect and appreciate their composure here. Their positioning to take the Black Claw. I think arguably they could just push straight into the base if they wanted to, but the safe, calculated play, definitely going for the Black Claw right here, and I like that a lot out of them.
Looks like it is going to be Witch Doctors charging, trying to find the steal, but it's going to be too late. It's already taken just as they arrive. Are going to fight, but already Stratosphere is dead. Alifa on the back line going to go down as well. Tina Turner trying to do damage, but they're just burning the Scorpius alive. 2 kills taken, looking for more. That's going to be a 3rd. An ace across the board. Holy moly, it's all done and dusted. Vision Gaming pushing for the win.
14k gold lead accumulated in not even a 13-minute game. Beautiful stuff out of Vision. I'm glad I picked them as my favorites. They did not let me down, and I'm definitely excited to see what this team can do for the rest of the tournament.
Turns out they're pretty damn good at Vainglory Flash X, that's for sure. Vision Gaming showing why they're hot stuff here in the North American VPL. And right now, they move themselves into the quarterfinals, ready to take on anyone that comes their way. We'll have to find out who will be coming their way very shortly, but I don't want to be them personally. I don't think anyone wants to be. I mean, let's just throw it back to Munch and see what he has to say about it all.
Well, 2 games done and dusted for Vision in under 25 minutes total. That is a disgusting way to take your 2-0 in a round of 16.
I mean, we have games that individual games that are longer than that best of 3 just was. Vision Gaming absolutely dominating this one, showcasing why they are one of the top teams in the region.
Bravo to them. Like, they came in and basically said, look, anyone that's been doubting us, this is what we bring to the table. And you could tell they weren't even playing that seriously, like taking 3v5 fights and then somehow managing to win them. Yeah. It's not like that's a calculated 3v5. Nobody takes a calculated 3v5. You just kite away while your mate is pushing. But they're just like, you know what? I think we can flex this.
Yeah,
I
we've
think
got
we
a
can
large
just
enough lead.
Take this one anyway.
And the thing that's most impressive about it is that, you know, a lot of times, we were talking about this during that game, where a lot of times when you see these large gold leads built up, it's because you're getting lots of kills and denying your enemy farm because they're dead and things like that. They don't go for kills. They are not a kill-hungry team. If they have the opportunity for them, sure, they'll take them. But they had an 8,000 gold lead at like 7 minutes into this game with only 5 kills on the board. And it is all just because of their macro play of being able to move around the map and control every single objective.
They forced Witch Doctor to play to the beat of their drum. Let's take a look at where we stand at the end of that series in our Group D bracket. This is obviously brought to you guys by the Razer phone. We have Vision Gaming moving forward into our quarterfinal, which means we have but 1 round of 16 match remaining. That's going to be the next one coming up. Dorea Esports up against Jenners, and then we will have our quarterfinals locked in. I cannot wait to see how those quarterfinals are going to be playing out, but I cannot wait to see how Dorea is going to do up against Jenners as well. Certainly going to be an exciting matchup, but Vision definitely setting a precedent for how they're going to move forward across the course of this tournament. But also, I think Witch Doctor deserves some commendation for having players that aren't going crazy negative. You know, like usually in the games where we see play-ins teams versus the top seeds, it's just everybody's 0 and 7. Like everybody does. We had still highlight moments for the individual players for Witch Doctor. There are promising things. There are good mechanics in that roster. I want to see more out of this team.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see them stick together and continue grinding, continue working on improving to get to this level with their macro play, with their decision making, because the individual mechanics, like you said, they were there in some moments. Obviously, you're not going to be necessarily at the level of these guys that are the top in North America. But if you keep working at it, you can get that. Like, their ideas were solid. Like, their drafts were probably some of the best drafts we've seen from play-in teams. But once you get into the gameplay, they just, again, we're not up to the level of Vision, but not many people are.
Yeah, Vision, like, you have to take this series in context. Vision is one of the best teams in North America, and they're in this tournament to prove that, essentially. And hopefully for them, prove that they are maybe the best team. A lot of other top teams are seriously scared of Vision right now. So Witch Doctor, you know, we're always going to be the underdog, but at least they've put something on show here. At least they've proven that they can make these plays, that they can do some stuff. And especially in their play-in round, they absolutely decimate their opponents. So I cannot wait to see how they're going to be able to do next time around if they're in the next tournament. But Vision Gaming are going to move on, and that means it's time for us to move on as well onto our final series. Before we do that, though, let's have a word from Razor. The Vainglory Premier League continues here from Las Vegas, Nevada. We are in the Aria Resort and Casino in the PokerGo studio, bringing you all of the action live from Las Vegas. And we have but one round of 16 game remaining. And let's talk a little bit about the PokerGo format here. It's best of 3, but it's single elimination. There is no room for errors in this format.
Yeah, 5 weeks of play, but we are almost done with that 3rd week. There's just 2 remaining after this, and this is when it's really even more so do or die, because now you're getting closer and closer to that potential $3,000 for first place. You see on the prize pool presented by Dollar Shave Club, $5,000 up for grabs in each region.
Yeah, absolutely. $3,000 for that first prize. That's what everybody is going to be gunning for. And also, just to be able to call themselves the top team in North America or in Europe, respectively. But let's take a look at our Play Vig matchup right now. It's Doraya Esports going up against Jenners. Now, Jenners have a little bit of a history. I'm sure you guys at home, if you've been watching Scoundrels League, if you've been watching recent tournaments, you're going to have heard of Jenners. And especially, I think their standout player is going to be Gaspy coming into this one. This is a guy that kind of came into the scene last year, but he made a name for himself quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he's has been pretty hit or miss at times, but when he is on form, he is a player that can definitely be one of the top carries, and he has been on top teams as well. But when he's not on his game, then very different story. Like, I'm gonna try and be a little bit nice with him, but when Gaspy is not performing up to his potential, then he really can struggle and just suffers very heavily for it.
Yeah, Jenners right now, to me, feel like what Rising Lotus were in the preseason for Europe. They're kind of a middle-of-the-pack team that has serious potential to upset, to get higher than maybe people expect, but we need to see that. We need to see those kind of dots connect and things start to get where in the cogs, if they can sync up, could be absolutely fantastic. And definitely, I mean, Gaspy, the biggest thing I always think of is his Baron play back in 3v3. We had some phenomenal stuff coming out from him. Baron's pretty strong right now, so we'll talk more about the draft, though, once we get there. First, let's take a look at our rosters coming on into this one. Starting off with Doraya Esports. Now, you might recognize some of these games, maybe not from Vainglory.
Cowabunga, dudes!
Definitely fans of Pisa, Raphael, Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and of course, led by Splinter, the wise rat himself.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can bring the level of synergy they have with their naming to their gameplay on Sovereign's Rise. But I mean, we're talking about the fact that Jenners has Gaspy, who's well known, and Doraya, maybe the names aren't quite as well known. They are the higher seed here.
Yeah.
So that is something that we do have to keep in mind as we do move over and take a look at the Jenners roster. Obviously, we mentioned Gaspy. They also have spectacular attached Killed Ward and Selmaw to round out their composition, but both of these teams, neither of them are slouches coming on into this game.
No, definitely not. And I'm very excited to see how these guys are going to match up, because like with a few of our matchups in the round of 16, a lot of these players are fairly unknown. It's going to be difficult. Like, if you're Jenners right now, like on paper, because people have heard of this, a lot of people are going to say that Jennas are the favorite, but realistically, it's difficult to prep against a team like Doray. They have very high elo in solo queue, so these are definitely not bad players when it comes to your mechanics and general game knowledge, but it's very difficult to prep against a team that you don't really know anything about.
Yeah, I mean, they've played a lot of ranked queue together as well, which is, why all 5 of them have very high and very similar elos, and why they are ranked so highly. But ranked queue, very different from actual competitive play. So
That's true.
this is where, this is kind of like their proving grounds, their opportunity to show that they are more than just pub stompers, that they can take down other organized teams.
Oh, well, I'll have to see if that is going to be the case in this series. And obviously, Jenna's a little bit more of that competitive experience behind them, definitely in some of those players. So I think shot calling, the rotations around the map, could be the thing to watch out for, especially when we look at Jenna's. But I do want to talk a little bit about the draft before we get on into this series. Let's take a look at our trending heroes. Now, this is what it was looking like at the end of day 1. Flicker, huge up in priority, as with Grumpjaw. Both of those honestly being banned a lot right now.
Yeah.
Grumpjaw basically 100% pick and ban. Baron we had seen a lot of yesterday, not so much today though.
Yeah, it really feels like it's just certain players are putting the emphasis on Baron, which you mentioned in 3v3. Gatsby was one of those Baron players, so we could very well see it come out once again here in this matchup. But it's a pick that is very strong, can do a lot of work. We've also seen Malene start to get, we thought she was going to be on the downward trend, but now all of a sudden she's getting picked up a lot more frequently once again. So I think it still feels like players sort of still figuring out where they want to go with their composition.
Malene definitely feels like a pick that some teams are, it's similar to Anchor, where some teams are really confident playing that Malene. They want it every single game and they'll do well on it. But other teams really not so comfortable with it. And Malene is, a pretty mechanically intensive hero. She has some incredibly high strengths in that, the fact that you can survive tower dives, the fact that you can outplay with so much of your kit is fantastic, but it's also very hard to pull off. You have very long cooldowns. If you miss your abilities, you're in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, and it's so, again, I think a lot of this just goes back to what teams are comfortable with what. I mean, when we're talking about like picks that are trending or not trending, you also have to keep in mind that we've only seen most of these teams play once now. So it's tough to say if picks are necessarily what everyone is gunning for, because not everyone is going to have the same mindset. Not everyone's going to be wanting the same picks when it comes down to it.
I always find it interesting when we talk to the pro players in between weeks and talk about the top picks, how different people's opinions are. Like, obviously, different laners will have different opinions on what's the strongest in the game because it affects their position differently, but also different teams have very different prioritization. Like, some of the teams absolutely adore Finn. Finn is like one of the highest priority picks for a lot of teams, but other teams that like to move about a bit more, don't want to be kind of locked into a team fight as much, not a fan of Finn. If you're just like, if you're playing like Vision Wheel last game and you're just rotating around the map,
Finn does not work with that strategy.
Fit that.
Yeah, which it's kind of one of those things where it almost makes that ban that was played against kind of a lack of doing the research against the team, because if you know that they play that extremely highly mobile style, you're not going to take Finn away from them. So you have to kind of know what that's when you're moving up the ranks. That kind of becomes the next step of, okay, we've got our play down. Now we have to start worrying about how we play into their play style. And like that's the next level of Vainglory strategies that we'll start to see as we get deeper into this tournament.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about Dorea versus Jennas, because I want to talk about, Jennas, they've got a bit of experience. These are some guys that have been around the scene a little bit. Some unknown players for sure, but there is at least a couple of voices of experience there. What would be the mentality, Greg, going on into a game like this where you can't do much prep on the opponent?
Oh, I think it's one of those situations where you just focus on your own play first, because that is the most important. Obviously, being able to know what your opponents like to do and the way that they like to play is great, but if you aren't fully confident in the way that you want to play the game, if you don't feel like you can control the game and force your opponents to play into your style, that needs to be your primary focus.
Okay, We'll see if that's going to be the case. Honestly, I'm just excited to see how Doraya are going to play. Like, we don't know their playstyle. There's so much to discover across the course of this game. And also, who the
They
star
broke up
players
the
are gonna
team.
be. Oh, AC. So AC is one of their subs. I didn't want to mention him because he kind of breaks the synergy. We're not going to have all of the Ninja
That's it. They're
Turtles.
going to lose now. They lost it. You break up the synergy. We already saw it with the baby Groots. You take one out, and it just ruins everything.
Raphael's gone.
Top level analysis right
Raphael
there.
discovered that there's buy one get one free pizzas right now near him, so he's got more important things to do. He's got a city to save. But Anko and Reza are going to be the bans coming out from Doraya, so fearing the assassins clearly on this one. Kinetic will be the response, and we'll see what Jenners choose to ban away as the final one here. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Finn, Fortress, Kensei. There's a few good ones. Grumpjaw as well, pretty stunned.
Yeah, Fortress is starting to slip through. Which,
Fortress, people don't seem to prioritize Fortress in the same way they were last week.
yeah, or the previous 3 weeks. Like, it had been almost 100% banned, and now all of a sudden starting to slip through. But Kensei getting through over a Churnwalker, like,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Churnwalker is very strong, and
but he's not Kensei strong.
he's not Kensei strong, I'll give you that. But a lot of the meta right now is about winning the game early on, and Churnwalker does that. If you can force those jungle fights and you got Churnwalker on your team, you're going to do amazingly. So, yes, I don't know if he's the right first pick, but I like the early pickup of it. It definitely tells them a lot that.
Like I said,
you're
I have
gonna
no
take the
problem
fight
with
to them.
Churnwalker being picked, but again, you look at when Kensei is available, you should probably be taking Kensei, unless you can get your hands on like Reza or Kinetic. Like, those are the only ones that you could maybe pick over Kensei. But other than that, Kensei should be first pick.
You're the Ninja Turtles. There's a ninja available to be picked. Like, where did it all
But the
go
Ninja
wrong?
Turtle isn't in their first pick slot. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, but they're already traded anyways. So it's a null point. Either way, Scarf going to be locked in, as well as a Finn. Let's catch up with this draft. Samuel as well on this side of Doraya. So pretty reasonable drafts, honestly, so far. Tony, a very nice pickup. Flicker going to get through as well. So we kind of are starting to see the style that's going to be coming through for Jenners here. You expect kind of a utility pick just to round that out now.
Yeah, and the only sort of like confusing thing to me about the Jenners draft is the Finn now, because you've got Kensei and Flicker, who are both very mobile, all about moving about, but then Finn, I mean, obviously, yes, Flicker can help Finn with a little bit of that mobility, but he does not fit that bill whatsoever. So unless he's running through the river, then you've got a little bit of mobility there, but it's, I like the fact that you have that big tanky, frontliner there, but is he going to be able to keep up with the rest of the team becomes the concern.
That will be the question. I really like this Kestrel pick that we're seeing come on through in the end for the side of Doraya. Kestrel, it's not a pick that's like particularly meta right now. It's kind of on the fringes, but people that pick it generally are very good at Kestrel. It's like a pocket pick. If you're good at Kestrel, there's a lot of Kestrel one-tricks out there. It's probably the one-trick hero in Vainglory, so I'm excited to see what Doraya can do with that pick, because it can take over a game.
Yeah, it absolutely can, and with the rest of their composition as well, having that Samuel and Churnwalker, the spread damage you can get if you let those chains get connected before you go all in can be massive. Both of these compositions have very clear strengths, but they also have a vulnerability that's pretty prevalent as well. With the side of Jenners, it's are they going to be able to stick together when it comes time for a full-on fight if things do start moving around?
All right, we'll have to see how this one's going to pan out. It's time to jump onto Sovereign's Rise for this one. It's Team Jenners, a better-known team, up against the heroes in a half shell. It's Doraya Esports. Let's pass it over to FlashX and Dowsy and get onto the map.
All right, game number 1, excuse me. Doraya Esports and the Jenners. A little bit of fighting going on in the mid lane. Dowsy, my friend, what do you make of this?
I mean, this is pretty exciting stuff. At this point, this could be one of the closest round of 16 matches we have. Of course, due to the way seeding works, you always expect a round of 16 match to be one-sided, but it's kind of hard to call where this one will go.
Yeah, I definitely think it can be a toss-up right here. Some great invading and counter-invading by both teams. I think that a lot of the people on the Jenners are very experienced players. They have very, very good mechanics. But I think Daria Esports, they have the synergy. These guys have been playing together for a while. They understand the game very well at a high level. Obviously having some great early game engagements. And with this number advantage up in the top lane, they might be able to
That would be
capitalize.
first blood. It is. Look at that. Donatello finds it. It's going to be killed. Ward heading away. I mean, these guys have not even been playing for years, but since they were young little turtles, mate. Like, and under the guise, of course, they've been able to develop into pizza hungry Vainglory fanatics. At this point, though, we'll have to see if they're able to convert their love for Ninja Turtles into victories here on the Sovereign's Rise.
Yeah, not really sure where Raphael is. He must be out on a mission today, but you know, that's a great first blood. The gold right about even, so not capitalizing as much as you'd really like. But these are two really strong compositions coming out of both teams. The Samuel Churnwalker duo is so strong. It can be so deadly. I mean, it's great throughout the entire game. Once you get those chains on the enemy team, Samuel is just a monster with those Malice and Verdicts, doing so much splash damage, the chains amplifying it even further. That's something that the Jenners are really going to have to watch out for. But you do have this Flicker and the Finn in this front line being extremely, extremely tanky, soaking up a lot of that damage. See a little bit of a fight in the mid lane, though.
Yeah, they were just roaming squad at this point. As Michelangelo trying to find his damage here. I guess Mike Angel kind of disappointed. Killed Ward, though. I mean, he seems pretty safe as Spectacular comes in, finds a kill on this Kensei. Can they find any more is the question. Gatsby doing a lot of damage on this Scarf. Splinter looks like he may be going down shortly. We do have AC here to try and shore up the fight. Oh, that's a huge Churnwalker pull-in. 2 for 1 in that little moment. Very messy game so far, but oh my gosh, it's exciting.
And this is definitely one of the most action-packed NA games we've... I absolutely love it. Gatsby, unfortunately, during that fight, ran out of energy. He wasn't able to continue dropping those Spitfires. He went with the triple crystal bit start, so he doesn't have the battery that we're so used to seeing. Definitely wishing that he had the damage output during that last engagement.
It's like Leonardo looking to try and find the kill onto attached here, but Spectacular killed Ward is ready to help on out their Finn. Maybe not. Sorry, bro. See you later. You're on your own.
Definitely two very evenly matched teams. Probably the most evenly matched series we've had in all of the round of 16. I mean, we've had a lot of 2-0s, but things get spicy in the top.
It doesn't end. 2 kills, 1 apiece. As they contest the healing camp, which killed Ward would be wanting at this point. Double kill comes through from Mike Angel.
I love it. These action-packed Vainglory matchups are the ones that I love. Cast Scoundrel and I had a 67 kill bloodbath yesterday. There was a ton of fun. This game definitely starting out like that, and definitely very much against the traditional passive calculated North American meta that we've been so used to seeing.
Absolutely. Right at this point, they are just going for blood at any given opportunity. You know, they're going to clear out this mid wave, try and get rid of it so that they can start moving around the map like they've been doing so far. Bit of an interesting setup here, though, as Mike Angel, the weapon-powered Kestrel, has been farming up in the top side for Dorea here. And then they send their Tony down bot, but it looks like it's matched by the side of Jenners. It's just everything's going on. So much to talk about.
Definitely things happening on all areas of the map at all times. Leonardo on this Samuel in the mid lane, though. He already has his Spellfire complete. There's not a lot of tier 3 items online for either team yet. So if he recognizes that and he starts to press the advantage, that is something that Daria Esports can absolutely capitalize on.
Gonna take away that Crystal Treant. Looks like killed Ward. Moving on in towards the Crystal Treant here with Selma. Not quite sure they can secure that, though, and 4 members of Daria coming over to make sure that goes the way of Mike Angel. Now Daria are going to head over towards this weapon Treant and secure that as well, and if he's not careful, killed Ward would be losing his life.
This is exactly the kind of synergy I was talking about. Rotating is 4 or 5, capitalizing on these big objectives. We have Ghostwing online now, so that could be probably Daria's next target that they're going to look for. I think Churnwalker and Samuel together are great at securing that, because if the other team does end up contesting, it is very hard to try and pressure into those two heroes.
I'm liking this rotation. Coming out, going to secure that weapon buff, give it over to Gatsby on this Scarf. Now, lots of damage down to this bot lane turret. Going to trade turrets across the board. Want a piece for each other. There's only 1,000 gold so far separating these two teams, so really anything can happen.
Flicker's so strong in the meta right now, but Land actually a great counter to it. Whenever he tries to that fairy dust, you just beat him away with your Githian wall, making sure that he's not able to slow out your carries. Donatello going to be playing a critical role here for his team in this game, but Mike Angel starting to scale really well on this weapon power Kestrel. Again, not a hero that we've seen too much in the meta. I don't know how well he's gonna do into both Flicker and Finn, so tanking those front lines. Daria Esports pressuring this mid lane turret. This might be the Ghostwing capture that they've been looking for.
Yeah, definitely looking to move towards it. Spectacular has a long lane to walk past. Pretty nice Kensei play down the bot side, using his dashes to dodge out some pretty good abilities. But so far, I'm really enjoying the way Splinter is playing this Churnwalker. Just his ability to quickly hook up using attached to the Finn to hit that first hook nice and easy, get that cooldown very quickly, and then pull Gatsby out of safety from the Finn to allow skill shots to land. It's really clean stuff. Here we get this Ghostwing being taken by Daria. There's going to be Splinter just walking away from the fight. Now can heal up with that Ghostwing buff.
No surprise that they picked that up. Great pull by Attached, though.
Yeah, great pull in. Fight breaking out on the mid side. Oh, they find a kill up top as well. This is going all the way for the team of Red as they find 4 kills across the board, and it's only Acia left alive. The Ghostwing buff is not really helped him here. Attached, happy to tank out that turret as a Finn. Here comes Spectacular, looking for the final blow. Spitfire connects. Tony Tanky can't really do much to save this turret.
Daria Esports, despite getting that Ghostwing, not going to capitalize on that buff at all whatsoever. They're gonna lose their top turret. Mid sitting right at about half health. They're gonna drop the Crystal Sentry. Great counter engagement by the Jenners to be able to recognize that they were split up right there. I think that if you are Daria, you need to understand that Finn hit that level 6. You can't be grouped like that. They were too tight. Until you have your Crucible online, you have to stay spaced so that if you do get pulled in with that Forced Accord, it's only 1, maybe 2 of your carriers being put into position. But right there, it was all of them, and they certainly got punished for it.
Spectacular's dead in the bot side. Good rotations from Daria, making sure they get back on top here. Weapon power Kestrel should be able to take this turret down super quickly, as each Glimmer Shot hits for about 300 on that objective there. So turret's more back even. You're totally right. If Attach is going to hit those kind of Finn ultimates, they're not going to be blocked up just yet. We do have Crucibles out now for Splinter. That's super dangerous. Turns 4 versus 3s into very winnable fights. Here it comes. Oh, Crucible's ready. That's really disappointing from Splinter. Is going to be the kill going through for the side of the Jenners once more. Now they're going to get this mid lane turret. Yeah, the Churnwalker stuns you all up, but you're just going to lose your life, Splinter. Not the place you wanted to be.
Yeah, not the move he was looking for right there. The mid turret is going to go down. Now he has his Trespass on cooldown as well. This might even lead to another objective for the Jenners. I really like this counter pressure.
Really good stuff. Does look like they will fall back though, but 1/3 of that turret's health remaining at the moment. Killed it. A ward in the top side, doing some work just to make sure that the pressure game is constantly there. Half health on that tier 2. And Spectacular's just down the bot side left alone. He's going to push down this turret easily.
Flicker popped his Moon Cloak. He's just going to recall there, getting him out of a little bit of a sticky situation. Jenner's not over-aggressing, not overextending, which I think that that's really good composure. Spectacular on this Kensei, though, just absolutely free farming. if he gets scaled too much, if they don't start to pressure him, he can 100% take over this game, especially with the weapon buff up there. He not going to contest, he's just going to rotate out, but it might be Jenners looking to start up this Ghost Wing.
Yeah, once more, Ghost Wing will get started, but as you mentioned, this time by the Jenners. Looks like Daria are in position as 5 to contest this. It's only 3 men from the side of the Jenners, and now they might be in trouble here. Kensei, can he dash away is the question. All the dashes available. Looks like he will this time be able to escape, and seems like Jenners very happy to allow this to happen because Selma taking down that turret in the top side is going to be able to secure another objective. Can they turn it around? This time the pool is blocked. Attached, though, moves on in, and look at Spectacular on the back line, showing the moves. Churnwalker stuns, holds the fight up, but Ghostwing's doing all the work. MVP in this fight. Splinter healing his bestest, but will lose his life. That's going to be the kill going down. Can they catch the Ghostwing before it resets? No, they can't. Pretty low health, but they are going to start it up regardless. Now it looks like they are going to attempt to take it before Attach loses his health bar. Maybe not.
Definitely a tough spot if you're in Daria Esports. You either have to contest the Ghost Wing or your armory turret up in that top lane, because Selma the entire time was pushing with that Stormguard banner, just putting on a ton of pressure. They lose the Ghost Wing. This has been great composure out of the side of Jenners. They need to make sure that they stay calculated and coordinated with this Ghost Wing buff, because this might be the opportunity they need to take over this game.
You wanted competitive games of Vainglory in the round of 16. Well, here it is. Jenners versus Daria. Just continuously pushing back at each other. Going to be a fight potentially breaking out. The vision control, though, from Daria here. Able to catch out that Mooncloak advance. Looks like they might have been caught out, though. Here comes the Spitfire coming through. That's going to be first kill going the way of Attached. That's not what you want to see at this moment. Lots of damage coming from the backline, but it's just not enough to catch any kills. To the side of Jenners, and a Black Claw ready to be taken.
Yeah, they're going to be really happy with that. Black Claw should be easy picking. Selma heading back to base to deal with that bot wave, and right as he clears it, Black Claw will probably be unleashed, and he should be able to regroup with his team for a great push. Donatello posturing a little bit aggressively. He's just going to roll on out of there. Doesn't want to lose his life, otherwise that could be a very deadly Black Claw push. So they have 2 turrets to get through. I don't know if they necessarily get an armory off this push. I think that with no turrets except for the base one being left in the top lane, I would really like to see a split push coming out of the Jenners right here. But right now, they're posturing very passively. Kensei's back in his jungle. Scarf's not even there yet. Black Claw already at 50% health. I don't know how much they're going to be able to get out of this.
Yeah, it's not going to be a split push with Black Claw, so to say, but maybe they can continue the pressure game as they got this top lane armory turret taken on down in just a second here. And then they might even fight. Look at this. Spectacular dives on in. Beautiful double stun coming through. That's going to be Mike Angel in trouble. Spectacular dives in for the kill. And then the bada boom assists Spectacular back out of the fight. Here comes that Dragon's Breath. Burning on down, but a good Oblivion will shut it down before it's too deadly. 2 kills, though. A pull on in. That's going to be the rest of the Daria squad moving on backwards. They need to save their base. The armory's down. The Vein Crystal's next. Respawn's not going to be coming anytime soon. Acia trying to get on the backside, but I don't think it'll be enough. Vein Crystal almost dead. So healthy is the side of the Jenners. Jenners, can they survive a little bit longer? They're losing their lives, but not quick enough. 1-0 to Jenners.
Really well played by the Jenners. I thought their Black Claw was going to be really floppy. Arguably it was. They just forced the fight in the top lane, though, and with that Ghost Wing buff, that's all they needed to close out this game.
Really clean stuff towards the end from the Jenners. Very interesting back and forth early game, but it's not that matters. It's the Vein Crystal exploding, and currently Jenners up 1-0. Let's throw it back to Des to find out what they think of it.
What a game coming out from Jenners in the end. That was a close one for the first sort of 5 to 10 minutes. We had a very good fight going back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah, and it was actually Jenners coming from behind to pick up this win because Daria had the advantage. They had the kills going for them early on, but unfortunately, they just didn't have the damage to win out in the mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw some awesome synergy though coming out between Attached and Gatsby. We saw, I think it was like 12 minutes in, Attached
It was
gets
really
this
the turnaround
huge
fight.
fin pull, while Gatsby just stands still on the scarf and just burns everyone to a crisp.
Yeah, it was before Crucible was built for anybody, so they knew that they could get that play to work. If it was going to get blocked, if the pull was going to get blocked, it was only going to be 1 or 2 members that didn't get pulled in. So really heads up, really great awareness from the side of Jenners to know that they could make a play like that work that efficiently.
Honestly, you'd expect Splinter to be wiser than to fall for a plan like that. Yeah, you're right though. The Crucible needed to be built earlier on in that game for them to be able to survive again. Finn, if you get caught by the pull, that's a game-ending fight right there.
Especially once Finn's level 8, pull into a quibble. If you don't have Crucible for that, you're losing the fight.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at where we are in the tournament right now in our 16-team bracket. We are on the last round of 16 game here between Jenners and Daraya Esports. So far, it has been one heck of a matchup. I'm excited to see if that's going to change going into game number 2. I'm hoping that Daraya can push this to 3 games, quite honestly.
But also, our first full 3-game set in North America.
It would, but also I want to talk about the top teams right now. The guys that are already in the quarterfinals, because I'm quite confident in my power rankings right now. I've got Nova Esports right up, sitting pretty at the top. Vision proving themselves as an absolute contender. I think Vision and Nova, absolutely terrifying. Tribe as well on the other side of the bracket look awesome. But Greg, you seem to have put Nova down in 3rd place. And what's going on, Greg?
Can you, after the games that Vision had, can you really put Nova over Vision?
Yeah.
I don't think
I
you
think
can.
Nova had just as strong of a performance.
I do not think they had anywhere near as strong a performance as Vision had. The only reason I had Vision at 2nd, keep in mind, this was coming into today. This was not after we've seen any of the games. This was coming into today. I had Vision at 2nd. I will be putting them at number 1, and not just for the zip-up hoodie. I will be putting them at number 1 because, the only reason I had them at number 2 was because of the fact that we hadn't seen them play to the level of, we hadn't seen them play, and the only concern about them was would they play the same style that they played as TSM. They came in today, they played that exact same style, and they are undoubtedly the number 1 team in my opinion.
Well, they're on the same side of the bracket, so the furthest both teams can go together is the semi-final. We could end up seeing that matchup play out, and then we'll really see who's correct. I'm still sticking with the guns on Nova. Tribe is the big question mark for me, honestly, though, because Tribe, we saw them in week 2, I think it was. They obviously looked incredibly good. They didn't look quite as good as Vision or Nova, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's definitely, could be some things for Tribe to work on, but Tribe is also this team that is known to kind of goof off a little bit when they know that they are the dominant team, and also known to not play as well if they're not in a live environment. So they have a couple of things that, can obviously be improved, but things that I think will be improved as they face tougher and tougher competition. Sure. But again, it's also that it's yet to be seen.
For me, I need to see it to believe it at this point with Tribe. They finished 3rd in the preseason. Obviously, they won X-Scoundrels tournament, but not all of the top teams were there. So I need to see more from Tribe before I'm willing to push them up the power rank. So let's take a look at the draft that we've got going before our very eyes here. Jenners versus Daraya. This time it's Jenners on the A side, banning away Anchor and Grumpjaw. Then we have Churnwalker and Kensei banned 4th side of Daraya. It's going to be a kinetic first pick by the looks of things. Pretty unsurprising. Daraya, though, they have an opportunity here to lock in 2 very strong captain utility picks. Maybe grab the Tony for yourself. Maybe grab something like the Finn or the Fortress. There's a lot still available.
Yeah, I mean, they did have the Tony last time. Didn't really have too much effect over the course of the game.
But I think Tony's.
But if you can't play it to that top level, then maybe it's something that you shouldn't be prioritizing. But they are going to grab the Flicker first and foremost, so going to have that little bit of mobility, that extra utility with the stealth, and of course the ability to root opponents. Looks like they also want to go ahead and grab this Reza pick, which I think would be incredibly smart. It would be a mistake to me to let an opponent get both the kinetic and the Reza.
I don't know how I didn't spot that not being banned out, honestly, and especially since it's fantastic to pick it into that kinetic as well. She's a perfect target for Reza to dive on that back lane, try and blow them up. What isn't a perfect target though is that Finn. He's every assassin's nightmare. Beefy front wall that's going to pull you away from your target.
Not to mention provide fortified health to the target that you're trying to assassinate, which just makes them very difficult to take down. So Finn worked out great for them in game number 1, hoping that it will have a similar effect here in game number 2, as they are going to then take the Tony as well. So that's, again, very, very strong start to this composition for the side of Jenners.
Yeah, honestly, I want to see Jenners grab the Scarf again. It worked wonders for them in Gaspy's hands in game number 1. It fits the composition nicely. I think Scarf is the absolute correct pick for Jenners. Obviously, there are other mages available, Celeste, Maline, but I really feel like with how well it worked in game 1, if it ain't broke, don't if it ain't fixed, don't broke it. But yeah, Scarf definitely a good pick. Samuel going to be locked in for the side of Daria though. I'm curious where they go from here. They need some weapon power, which Gwen's available.
Yep, Gwen's been absolutely incredible today. You also have the Baron as a potential weapon power pick if you want to.
Yeah, true.
But they do get that Lance because they did need some of that front line strength. I think that you probably could have saved the Lance because not likely that Lance is going to get picked up when you already have Finn and Tony on the other side. But you never know. We have seen these triple captain and type compositions come through, but it does now give the opportunity for the side of Jenners to say, you know what, if we think they're going to take the Gwen, what do we think we can take to deal with it? They are going to go ahead and grab that fortress, so getting that mobility is definitely a priority for them.
Yeah, a really good way to engage those fights as well, and the rest of the team just needs to follow up on that at that stage. And also, one thing that Fortress I feel like isn't often credited for, but it's one of his real strengths, is if a fight goes on a long time and the enemy team decides to try and back away, it's incredibly difficult to escape a fight that Fortress is involved in. Vox is going to be the last lock-in for the side of Daria, so good scaling damage coming out. I actually quite like this composition from Daria. Honestly, both teams I think have good compositions right here. I actually feel like Daria maybe have a slight edge here. I really like the Flicker pick. I like the fact that they have this hard engaged Lance to protect the rest of the team as well. But I'm curious to see how well they're going to be able to execute it. Because after we got past the very early game, once we got towards the mid game, it felt like Jenners kind of just took control of everything, and there wasn't much Daria could do about it.
Yeah, Daria does have a very strong composition, but so does Jenners. And Jenners' composition is just, you talk about how are they going to be able to execute. The Jenners composition is just easier to execute. Like their parts come together much quicker and with much less complication. You don't need as much coordination to land a Finn hook into a Dragon's Breath. Like you don't need to have like this immense level of communication and skill to pull that one
you're
off.
Absolutely right. We'll see if they pulled it off in game number 1. Let's see if they can pull this into a 2-0. Shredder is going to be watching closely to see if he can get some turtle soup for dinner. It's time to pass it over to our casters.
Alrighty, heading into game 2 of this series now. Jenners up 1-0, looking like they might potentially be the lowest seed, the team to make it through to the quarterfinals.
They might be the lowest team, but they are certainly very well qualified to do so. These players, their mechanics at a very high level. I would not be surprised at all to see them take this series 2-0. I really like their draft. Fortress, once he gets that attack of the pack online, so strong at body blocking against that Samuel. And then, of course, you have the Tony, you have the Finn frontlining a lot of those Malice and...
So far, I've been really impressed with the early game rotations coming out of Daria here. Once more, they're going to secure pretty much everything in the jungle that they want to. And it looks like Selma may just be caught out here. Not going to get any assistance. Just going to have to walk his way to his inevitable death in just a bit. Potentially, he buys some time or slows down, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. In fact, popping the flask, has he done it? Selma the Great... No, okay. All right. It's all good.
It was close. It was close. Very close. He did make Daria respond. That did eat up a lot of their time and efficiency in those rotations. But with Aesir on this Reza in the bot lane, able to secure his healing tree, and I don't know that really the Jenners were able to gain the upper hand in that rotation. May not have been worth Leonardo and Splinter putting on the pressure here in the mid lane.
Yeah, certainly. I'll have to see how this one does play out. The Samuel didn't look super threatening in game 1, but that potentially was just due to the fact that Jenners were able to mount a pretty big comeback through their premier play. Attached to Finn looked so good, really well timed. Splinter just missing a couple of crucible timings as well, which kind of hurts a lot when you're up against a Finn.
Absolutely. In this 3.6 meta, being tanky is the name of the game. And you have these mages in the backline just outputting so much damage. It's very, very hard to deal with. I still think Samuel is one of those powerhouse laners, one of the strongest, if not the strongest hero in the mid lane, particularly because of how strong he is in the early game. But he needs to use that strength to his advantage. And if he's not able to get aggressive and create a lead in the early game, it is very, very hard going up against a lot of these frontlining heroes.
Here we see this invade now coming through from the side of the Jenners, trying to get this Crystal Treant, trying to stop Leonardo from being able to use this Drifting Dark effectively. Lots of damage put out, but the Crystal Treant will be secured by a kill. Edward going forward, looking for more, trying to find the fight, but may have just bit off more than he can chew. Has to pop the flask, and now attached, slowest member, boots away, leaving Spectacular on the front line. I'm not sure that's where Spectacular wanted to be. That's going to be Asia coming through and picking up that kill of an auto attack.
Our Dari Esports having to feel really good at that kill, extending that lead up to 2-0. The gold, though, is still even. That's the biggest thing in this series, is the Jenners, despite going down early, they're not giving up a gold lead, or at least not one that's significant.
This is a really nice little rotation, though, from Daria, noticing that there's nothing that Jenners can do to protect their red side jungle. Will move on in and take away that weapon treant for themselves. Now just securing their own on the other side here. Selma, though, in a 1v2 says, nah, mate, I'm going to take down the Vox. Now he just has to try and escape from this Samuel, though every auto attack that Leonardo puts out slows down this Tony. Here's the boots pop, trying to escape Splinter, who wants to try and find the impale for his own. I think he should be able to escape here, but potentially the river buff gets him in position. Lively little sidestep, but the Giffian wall knocks him against the wall. Flask pop at the last minute. That's the ultimate BM there, right, Flash? You make someone chase you across the map, and then you just pop Flask at the end of it all.
Selma is doing this so well, too. The Dari Esports are spending so much time chasing him, and they did secure the kill the first time, but it's a lot of time, a lot of resources spent towards trying to find the kill. And I think that's the biggest reason why Jenners have been able to keep this gold deficit so small, despite giving up these early game kills. They're just impacting the map in other ways, just being a little bit more efficient. And that's something that Dari Esports don't recognize very soon can hurt them going into this mid stage of the game.
I mean, we've all seen the meme of the car flying off the highway at a stop that's probably a little bit counterproductive. I mean, in Vainglory, it's classic when your teammates just chase kills, not objectives. It seems to be the case here, because look at that. Bot lane turret secured. There was no one to stop the pressure game of that turret being taken. Spectacular on this Kinetic's just going to get so strong in the late game, and if you don't stop the snowball now, then it's not going to get stopped.
Spectacular with the spectacular CS. He's got quite the commanding lead. He's leveling very, very well. Wants to make sure that he's continuing these core items. He's got the Serpent's Mask complete. Probably looking for the breaking point next. That definitely seems to be like the meta item. Flicker, though, one of the breakout heroes in this 3.6 meta. Something that they're going to have to be very careful of.
Yeah, attached comes in, but the weapon treant stolen. Leonardo finds a really good angle to find some damage here, but this Dragon's Breath will push everyone back. It's not really doing much work other than threatening at this point. Another good rotation coming out of Daria, able to steal away once more another red buff, but they do lose Ace here on the backline, and potentially if Selma has anything to say about it, more people to come. Gaspy, level 6. Trying to find the damage with the Spitfire goops. Oh, it's a great taunt backwards. There's the goop put down, slowing everyone down. Spitfire's landing, but the Oblivion on the backline. Holy moly, it's huge. 2 kills for Donatello. Leonardo. Oh, everyone's here. As Michelangelo gets involved, there's the triple kill for Leonardo in the end of it all. 4 kills off the back of a fantastic Oblivion, and there's the 5th. Lovely stuff.
Great stuff out of Daria. They kept their composure. Things looked a little grim at the start of the team fight. They turned it around They need to try and translate these kills into meaningful objectives, though. Picking up this tier 1 turret in the mid lane is going to open up the map quite a bit more for them. They need to translate this into a Ghost Wing capture, though, if they want to continue this momentum throughout the mid stages of this game.
Spectacular walks into Mike Angelo here. Mike Angelo gets pulled towards the crystal tree and not able to secure it. Gatsby will find that. Do they want this fight is the question. Doesn't look like they do, Daria. Mike Angelo still just being pulled on in. Donatello able to be that frontline threat necessary to peel away the damage. Potentially, though, Jenners may have an opening to land some damage or even start up a Ghost Wing.
Yeah, despite being so far behind, or rather 3 kills behind, the Jenners definitely great macro play, great rotations. This
damage, the turret potential. Oh, that damage onto Leonardo. He's dead. Easy stuff comes through. That's going to be the kill going over to Spectacular. Bada bim, bada boom. Splinter dead for the double. Donatello, he runs away trying to keep himself alive. Turret not long for the world. Taunt pulls everyone back forward. And it doesn't look like Dario want to stick in here. There's already pull, Finn, 2, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and we'll have some more please. Jenners pick up one more. Fountain keeps everyone healthy and alive. And with Donatello not really alive, with Acia low, that's going to be another turret falling. Leonardo turns too late. And that's going to be all the kills going over towards the side of Jenners. They should be able to get out safely.
huge kudos to the Jenners. Kind of a bit of a sloppy early game. They kept their composure though. Such a huge testament to players at this level. Definitely a critical asset to being successful against a lot of these teams is keeping your composure. They didn't get shook up. They continue to communicate. They played the Ghost Wing incredibly well and picking up 2 turrets in the mid lane. They have just swung the gold favor in their advantage. 3,000. That's exactly what they needed. Spectacular in trouble though.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. I don't think the Kinetic's that fed yet. Acia will just be able to burst on down. Maybe if he was able to finish that breaking point, then there was a fight to be had there. But I mean, it's really impressive stuff to see it time and time again from the Jenners. Going down in gold, but then really just able to pull up when the power spikes are there. The question is against a team that's really going to put you behind in the early game, can they do it again? Right now, though, Daria, once more showing that they aren't afraid of progress. Gonna move towards this top lane turret. It's very low and shouldn't take too many hits to finish, but with attached, pulling the wave into a favorable position, they're able to clear it. And it doesn't look like Daria's gonna really look for a fight.
Flicker boots in, Scarf boots out. Great recognition by Gatsby to understand that if he would have gotten caught in that fairy dust, he would have been in bad shape. It's going to be the Jenners, though, grouping top lane. The counter pressure in this top lane. I think that this turret is going to get melted very swiftly. Scarf, one of the best in the game at just melting these objectives. The Mooncloak, though, coming in hot.
Mooncloak in. Gatsby's just straight up dead. But can they find any more? On the back of it is the question. Mike Angel not in a good spot. Bada Bing splits this fight up. Gets everyone split out. Selma might be able to walk away from this. But I'm not sure about Attach. He's going to go very low. Killed Edward. I don't know. Can he escape this as well is the question? Yeah. Looks like he can. Spellfire ain't going to take him out. This top lane turret's dead. And Daria trying to close the gold gap.
Great play by Daria. Ghost Wing up. I'd love to see them group up, go straight to Ghost Wing. Attached, still down for 5 seconds. I think that fight actually could have gone completely differently if Attached found a nicely timed Fountain onto Gatsby on the Scarf. Unfortunately, coming in a little bit too late, not going to keep him alive. Jenners posturing aggressively to contest this Ghost Wing capture, though.
Yeah, Ghost Wing... Who's going to get it is the question. Can the steal come through for the Jenners? That's a huge Tony taunt, but it's not enough. That's going to be secured over by Daria. Here comes that Dragon's Breath. So low. That Ghost Wing hasn't started healing them just yet. Splinter low is able to roll to his safety. And look at that. On the back line, they pick up Leonardo. 1 for 1 though. Gaspy gonna lose his life. This is not looking good for the side of Jenners, but maybe Spectacular is stacking up on the backside, able to get re-involved in this fight. Saved. Attached here. I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen. Attached goes down. Spectacular is gonna get pincered by the Turtles. And that's gonna be the kills going the way of Daria.
Daria turning this game around. This is definitely one of the closest games we've seen thus far. The Ghost Wing buff being able to last hit that objective, so critical in that last team fight to keep them in it. Great heads up play to go straight on a Black Claw. I don't know if these 3 heroes have enough damage to take it down as quickly as they need to, because Jenner's heading straight in this direction. It does look like Daria is going to drop the objective.
Yeah, the Black Claw is so important. So far in the Summer Open, the team that secures the first one has a 92.3 chance of winning. That's insane. That's what makes the Black Claw so important. And you can see here that Jenners they know how important this is to winning their game. It's such a huge win condition for anyone. It's going to be a big contest over this. We got ultimates ready. Leonardo has his. So does everyone else. The Mooncloak ready to go as well. And it looks like the Jenners recognize the threat of a fight not being worthwhile. Instead, maybe they just take it to them. Huge pullback. Going to bring everyone in. Oblivion splits the fight, but it is going to be Daria, the ones being put on the back line. The Dragon's Breath in a tight corridor. It's burning everyone as we speak. The kill for Gaspy. It doesn't look like Mike Angel can escape. He gets stunned. He gets taken on down. It's a double for Gaspy, and boom! That's Kinetic finding the snipe. It's going to be 3 and 4, and now the Black Claw. Jenners can easily take it.
Spectacular mechanics by the homie Spectacular on that Kinetic, putting up so much damage in the team fight. Ace here gonna contest him, and because Spectacular has that Serpent's Mask, it's not even gonna matter because he's just gonna instantly regen all that health. And it's gonna be his team, the Jenners, taking down this Black Claw. And 92.3% of the time, the team that takes Black Claw first will win. So things for Daria Esports looking very grim.
Really, really grim. Maybe they can be the 7.7%. We'll have to find out. Here comes the Black Claw pushing down the mid lane. It's going to get taken down pretty quickly. Remember in game 1, it wasn't a huge commit to the Black Claw from the Jenners, but here they all come ready to fight, and that Fool from the Finn is ready to go. Forced a cord. Will it find its target is the question. Armory turret has fallen. Selma! The butter pump splits up everyone! Mike Angel's dead! That's gonna be ACM running for his life. Dragon's Breath onto Leonardo. Not long for this world, you'd think. Double kill comes through for the Scarf. And that's all she wrote. Vein Crystal's in trouble as Splinter does his best. Donatello's locked up and dead. And all rights. And so will this Lance as well. Vein Crystal turret not to stand much longer. That's all she wrote as Jenners 2-0. Daria Esports.
The big upset coming in as the 11th seed over to the 6th seeded Daria Esports. Definitely some great games here in North America. Excited to see what this team's able to accomplish going forward.
Some flashy plays indeed. It's been so fun casting this series. Jenners proceed forward, and with that, we throw it back to the desk.
What a series coming out from Jenners in the end. A 2-0, but honestly, that did not feel like a 2-0. Both of those games on an absolute knife's edge.
Yeah, absolutely incredible game. But what a matchup. I mean, Jenners pretty much off the back of 2 crucial team fights, 2 big ultimates down the stretch to get that win. I mean, it looked like it was gonna be just a repeat of game number 1, where Daria got a bunch of kills early on, but couldn't quite close it out. But then they started to come back. They got a fight around Ghostwing. They got that team fight win, but that last Scarf ult around Black Claw in the tight corridor with nowhere to go, absolutely destroyed that team.
Massive shout out to Selma as well, because Selma in that that ult behind Black Claw, he got a taunt onto multiple people, locking them into that Dragon's Breath. But also, in that last fight, his Bada Boom onto 5 people, basically sealing the game single-handedly.
Knocking 2 or 3 of them over the wall outside the base so that they couldn't even defend anymore was absolutely beautiful. Like, it doesn't get much better than that.
And it was such a perfect ult as well because it didn't even hit the spectator cam, so we even got to see all of it. Absolutely insane stuff coming out. Jenna's, I think, deserved victory, but heartfelt defeat for the likes of Daraya. I guess Shredder wins in the end.
Yeah, you're gonna have to head back to the sewers and figure out a new strategy for next time. But would definitely love to see these guys compete again because one, I want to make more Ninja Turtle puns.
Yeah.
2, they actually did look legitimately very good at times. Their biggest criticism I have for them is that when they got kills early, they didn't do anything with it.
They needed to be more proactive on getting objectives after taking those advantages. Honestly, easily the best round of 16 game we had in North America, I think it's fair to say. The only one I think that battles with it is the one in Europe with Exceeder Zero. I think that was also a 6 series, but phenomenal stuff coming out from both of the teams here. Let's take a look at where we are in the tournament off the back of that one. Here are our quarter-final matchups. They are now locked in and ready to go. Vision Gaming and Jenna's moving forward in the D block. And we've got the rest of our quarterfinals already blocked on out from our games last weekend and this weekend. Nova versus Vegetable Juice, Tribe versus Rampage Gods, and then our final quarterfinal as well. And we can take a look at what has been happening over the course of today. We've had straight 2-0s across the board, but a lot of these games have not been as close as they looked.
Yeah, we had 2-0s actually throughout the entire round of 16 in both regions. Like I said, some of them were very one-sided, some of them were very, very close games like we just had. But in the end, each of these teams winning convincingly enough to not need that third game.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff coming out from all of our teams here today. Honestly, we've had some awesome games today. Before we move on to what's going to be happening for you guys next weekend, let's have a quick word from Razor. All right, so now we're going to start to take a look at what's going to be coming to your screens next week, and the quarterfinals are finally here. We have some big matchups coming your way, and we're able to talk about those in just a moment. But the key thing is that these big names, they're starting to run out of time where, you know, they started off high seed versus low seed. They had an easy way into the tournament. Now it's going to get a little bit harder.
Yeah, these teams are going to start getting tested now. Like, you know, they had some nice clean runs through, but, you know, first we're going to start in Europe with Rising Lotus versus Divine Vendetta. That should be phenomenal matchup. And then Clash versus Cyclone. Again, this is kind of the first real test for Clash coming on into the Summer Open. And then we head over to North America for Nova Esports versus Vegetable Juice and Vision Gaming against Jenners.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially Rising Lotus versus Divine Vendetta. That game is going to be
That's the matchup I'm most looking forward to for that Saturday's games next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'm excited to see Vegetable Juice in North America because they really impressed me yesterday. This was a team that no one really knew anything about, and they came in and made a statement against Polar Ace. So I'm curious to see what else they've got up their sleeves and whether they improve from week 2 to week 3 to week 4, if I can count. They do have a tough matchup because Nova, that is going to be a tricky opponent for any team.
Yeah, I mean, Nova obviously is still I don't have them as my #1 team, but they are still a very, very strong team.
I mean, everyone has the right to a wrong opinion, Greg. But
including you, don't worry.
I have the right, I just choose not to use it. Anyway, that's going to be about it from us. Make sure you join us next weekend. Quarterfinals are coming your way, and it's going to be huge. Divine Vendetta versus Rising Lotus will be our first match. Make sure you are there. Saturday, 9 a.m. PDT. We'll be there, and we'll see you next weekend.